interesting thing is GPU power is most of it. Networking power is some, but it's a lot less. But so while you're computing, your power for your GPUs is here. But then when you're exchanging weights, if you're not able to overlap communications and compute perfectly, there may be a time period where your GPUs are just idle and you're exchanging weights and you're like, hey, the model's updating. So you're exchanging the gradients, you do the model update, and then you start training again. So the power goes, right? And it's super spiky. And so funnily enough, right, like this, when you talk about the scale of data center power, right, you can blow stuff up so easily. And so Meta actually has accidentally upstreamed something to code in PyTorch where they added an operator. And I kid you not, whoever made this, like I want to hug the guy because it says PyTorch, it's like PyTorch.powerplant no blow up equals 0 or equal 1. And what it does is amazing, right? Either, when you're exchanging the weights, the GPU will just compute fake numbers. So the power doesn't spike too much. And so then the power plants don't blow up because the transient spikes like screw stuff up.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you have to do that kind of thing. You have to make sure they're not idle. Yeah.
And Elon's solution was like, let me throw a bunch of Tesla mega packs and a few other things, right? Like everyone has different solutions, but like Meta's at least was publicly and openly known, which is just like set this operator. And what this operator does is it just makes the GPUs compute nothing so that the power doesn't spike.
But that just tells you how much power you're working with. I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
People should just go to Google, like scale, like what does X watts do, and go through all the scales from 1 watt to a kilowatt to a megawatt, and you stare at that, and you're how high on the list a gigawatt is, and it's mind blowing.
Can you say something about the cooling? So I know Elon's using liquid cooling, I believe, in all cases. That's a new thing, right? Most of them don't use liquid cooling. Is there something interesting to say about the cooling?
Yeah. So air cooling has been the de facto standard. Throw a bunch of metal, heat pipes, etc., and fans, right? And like that's cooled. That's been enough to cool it. People have been dabbling in water cooling. Google's TPUs are water cooled, right? So they've been doing that for a few years. But with GPUs, no one's ever done, and no one's ever done the scale of water cooling that Elon just did, right? Now next generation NVIDIA is for the like highest end GPU, it is mandatory water cooling. You have to water cool it. But Elon did it on this current generation, and that required a lot of stuff, right? If you look at like some of the satellite photos and stuff of the Memphis facility, there's all these external water chillers that are sitting basically. It looks like a semi truck pod thing. What's it called? The container.